Our last episode?
What?
Let's gossip about that.
Let's gossip about that.
I want to gossip.
But I mean, people have these tough questions about theology.
Can man choose salvation?
If God's so good, why does he let bad things happen?
Why should I want to get to heaven?
Or does God predestine salvation for man?
I want to know the truth. I want to seek the truth out. I want to seek through Scripture and find God's truth. I cannot believe we'd have season 4 of Gospel Gossip.
Didn't think it was going to make it past season 1.
I didn't even think it was going to make it past our dorm. That
But wait, you guys did it for 3 years, right?
did it three years, just me and Matt is what we did.
Yeah.
Did you start as freshmen?
We sophomore.
Because we didn't
Yep.
we didn't like each other as freshmen. I would have never sat down in a room with him and talked about Jesus.
But how? No, I just looked at that guy and thought, I can't talk to him.
There's
about
no
Jesus.
way he loves Jesus.
What? Okay, if there's 4 seasons though, how did the math? Like, I'm the faculty advisor for you guys. I don't even know how this worked out. But how do you guys have 4 seasons?
Oh,
For 3 years.
because we had every semester was a different
Oh,
season.
that's right. And you
Yeah.
guys took a semester off here. That's right. I remember.
Yeah.
That's right.
Because I think we took 2 semesters off each time. I think
Almost.
the past 2 years we've taken
Yeah.
2 semesters
So
off.
we did season 1, and then we were like, man, we'll just take a break and then think about season 2. And then this guy basically said, if you guys don't start season 2 after this long, you're done.
Yeah, because
dropping.
I think
Yeah.
you guys actually started at the end of sophomore, skipped the first semester of junior, and then the next 3 semesters you've been
Yep.
doing it consistently. So that's what it was.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And I was sick of waiting for you guys to be like, oh, we're going to do it. We're going to get around to it. No, do it.
Yeah.
So who are you? You've been in 1 episode.
Yeah. So my name's Jonathan Burian. I am the staff advisor for Gospel Gossip.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
And it was really awesome how this ministry got started and how you became our guy, our man in the chair, for the guys in the chair.
Yeah.
Because we started and me and Aiden were just like, man, there needs to be a conversation that needs to be going about who is God, what does this mean, what are we doing with him in our lives,
Yeah.
and we wanted to find a way to get it out there. And we were like, well, we know our guy Jonathan. You did podcasts for how long? You've been in the podcast game for how long?
I'm in like 6 years now, but
He's so old.
yeah, I'm almost half a century.
That is crazy.
Dude, we've been doing it for like half. We've been doing it like 3 years.
Yeah.
So when you started, I was like 15.
12?
Something like that. Yikes.
Yeah.
Well, that's really awesome.
Because I remember, so when I first came to the school, I got connected with you pretty early.
Yep.
And then you guys were connected. And like at lunch, or we would have you guys over, and we would just have, my wife and I would have you guys over to our house, and we would just have conversations into the night. And then you guys were having those conversations. And then I think I remember you guys were like, we should do something with this.
Yeah.
What did you do with it?
Man, we went to like Hollywood budget level.
Yeah.
And we just got this really nice set in Aiden's dorm room. Fireplace on the TV in the back. That's how nice this was.
Brilliant.
Yeah. I still have that TV.
And I had like this weird afro mullet thing going on. I didn't even like care about what I was wearing. We had these orange Halloween lights that this guy had strung behind the TV.
Yeah.
Really, what kind of haircut did you have going on?
Mullet.
Rapunzel.
Rapunzel.
I wouldn't call it a mullet at the time, but looking back, I'm like, that was definitely a mullet.
And we just sat there like, man, let's talk about Jesus, man.
But I mean, that was, yeah. So we would have these conversations every night. Matt had a roommate. I had a dorm by myself, and it would be like late at night. I had deer jerky.
I was
Matt
lured
would
by
come
the deer
in.
jerky.
Yeah, he wanted to eat a snack, And then we'd just start talking about class, or we'd start, I've had this thought lately. And like every night, we would get super passionate about this thing. We just start going back and forth. We're like, oh man, we're both so fired up. This is so cool. And yeah, then we thought, we need to do something with this because these conversations are so cool, but I don't remember them the next day. And like, what if other people have these questions?
Yeah,
like, what if other people are talking about?
Yeah, we can't be the only ones having these conversations at our age, and we
Yeah.
can't be the only ones wrestling with what seems like life-changing questions. So, like, there needs to be a conversation being had.
Yeah. And so our first episode, we didn't post it, of course, in our dorm room, but do you remember what it was about?
No.
I don't remember either. I remember reading scripture and thinking, oh, dude, I look so cool. I'm like watching ourselves on my Apple Watch. And then we bring it to Jonathan, and he's like smiling, but he doesn't say anything yet. And then he goes, wait, are you guys serious? I'm like, yeah, why? He's like, yeah, don't post this.
You're like, man, this looks so good. And he's just like a supportive dad. I'm not mad at this. I'm just disappointed.
I'm going to hang this on my fridge.
Yeah, it was fridge art. That's how good that was. And I think, but that passion to just ask the questions and not wanting to stay quiet about curiosities that we had led into a really cool mission and vision I've pulled up here. And we wrestled with this mission and vision statement forever.
I mean, it's changed over. Are you reading the latest?
Yeah, the latest one.
Okay.
It's changed quite a bit, but it's always been centered around our passion.
Yeah.
The mission statement, and this has really shaped the way I do ministry and youth group as well, just this idea, gospel gossip exists to build up young adults, and exploring the true nature of ministry and what it means to serve God. And the vision for that has been to create a body of young believers, people our age, who understand the gospel and ministry and serve God in all that they do. Because
That's a long mission statement.
bro, because
We're still figuring it out.
Yeah, we're still figuring it out. All too often, I mean, we don't have all the answers, and we could feel scared in this culture to ask these questions. So creating a space, even when we don't have it all figured out, to just talk about it and struggle through life together, I think is really important.
You know, I've noticed, like in my years in ministry, when we create space for the questions and the conversation, there's a lot of like excitement because, and I don't know the reason behind it, but I want to encourage you guys and anyone else in ministry, but there's kind of this stigma around difficult questions because sometimes difficult questions like fall outside or break the box of someone's worldview or theology. So for example, if you approach the Bible and you're just like, everything in the Bible points to Jesus, and then you encounter stuff in the Bible that doesn't point to Jesus, and you're like, well, I don't know why it doesn't, but I just know the whole Bible points to Jesus. So I'm not even gonna like entertain, how this thing fits because it doesn't fit the way I see the Bible. And so there's this like, we ministry leaders come up with these like cookie cutter pat answers and say, well, here's the answer, and then they just walk away. But something that I've noticed in my personal life and in your guys' lives is that the cookie cutter doesn't cut it. Like that I'm not buying that.
Yeah.
That's not a satisfactory answer. I need to know more. But the catch is there isn't always like the perfect answer. So as you're just talking about like the importance of asking questions and the value of, you guys are exploring questions, the ancient Jewish, and it's still today, the Jewish way of teaching, even in the first century and before. Are you guys familiar with this?
The like rabbis?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Is it?
Like the strategy that they would use to teach.
think it's like literally just asking questions, right?
Yeah. So there's this like goofy stereotype of like Jewish people, how they just talk in questions. You know, but that's actually how rabbis taught. So when they come to Jesus and they're like asking him questions and he responds with a question, it's because that's how the rabbis taught, was that, well, what do you think the answer is? You know, what is the greatest commandment? And one of the really valuable traditions in the Jewish rabbi method of teaching is there are very few hard and fast answers. There's a lot of room in the Jewish way of teaching the Bible that says, well, how do you read it? And just like you guys are like going through this, and I haven't fully listened to every episode that you guys have done, and you guys have come to me. I'm just kind of took over. Sorry, man. I'm like excited about this.
That's why you're here.
So when you guys were first doing it, I remember you were struggling with creating like a scripted outline, and you were like, let's talk about this, and then I'll talk about this, and then I'll pass it off to you, and we'll reference this passage in this book, and then we'll cite this scripture. And it was just this like super strict. And then you guys really hit your stride when you started to just gossip about it, like actually just talk, because that's what you were doing in your rooms. Those were the conversations you were having, like just here's my heart, here's what I'm thinking about it. And you guys did a little prep work, but really the heart, I think, of what you guys are doing here is creating the space to say, well, I don't know the answer, but we're gonna talk about this thing that's on my heart and that's on my mind, and this thing that I don't know the answer to.
Yeah, because that's what it looks like day to day. You're not going to come up to someone with this, and you're both going to have a scripted conversation. If there's something truly that they're wrestling with, I've been wrestling with staying close to the mic for 3 years. But when you are struggling with a question that's like almost shaking your faith or the way that you view life and God, you can't just leave it there. You can't just be like, well, I have this question, I guess that's it. No, you need to wrestle with that. Because doubts and questions that shake your faith can actually be very beneficial to your faith when you actually truthfully and intentionally follow those to where they lead.
Yeah.
I mean, what are the people of God named?
Christians.
Go back.
Followers of the way?
Israel. Which means what?
Those who wrestle with God.
Yeah. God literally named, he said, I want my people to be known as wrestles with God. That's how I want my people to be known. If you wrestle with me, you're my kind of person.
Wow. And something that I've learned about, like when we started this, I was in supply preaching. So I'm like, I think I'm all that, taking these sermons, going to these small town churches, and like, you need to understand this.
Let me teach you something.
Let me teach you something. And everyone's sitting there going, I don't even know what he's talking about. What is he saying? And
who does this kid think he is?
Yeah, I used to think like I need to have the exact answer, and I need to have it spelled out super, like, here it is. Yeah, here's where I point to. But yeah, something that I have realized that you've been bringing up is that's actually not effective of giving people the right answer. Like you're just feeding them to say, don't think for yourself. Here you go. Just take this. But they never know why. They never know why they actually believe in God. They never know why. Like, it's like, oh yeah, I chose to be baptized. Oh, why do you love Jesus? Oh, I haven't thought about that.
Or they have your answer.
Yeah.
They're just remembering what Aiden said.
It's never personal.
Right. That's really interesting.
And so, like, I've been, like, I led this mission trip again to Utah, and like, I realized, like, oh, I need to teach them everything about the culture, about where we're going and all this. But it's like, why do I give them the right answer? How about I just go, hey, what did you guys learn today? What do you think about this? Let's wrestle with this together.
Mhm.
Because once they know the right answer, then you don't actually know why. You don't know why.
And you care about why.
Yeah.
I mean, that's exactly why God doesn't just reveal himself completely to us and be like, all right, I'm real. This is it. You need to follow me.
Whoa.
Like 100%. He leaves little clues for us to follow. He's not completely just out there,
Yeah.
right? We need to wrestle with getting to that conclusion.
I need to look it up because I don't know where it is. But there's a passage where it says it's the glory of kings to hide things.
Is that Proverbs?
It's the
Sounds like
Bible.
The book of First Jonathan Berean. The book of First Bereans. Yeah, I mean, when we fight for knowing something and when we fight to getting to the correct answer, we love it all the more. We cherish it all the more. We hold it closer to us. Because that's something that we fought for.
Yeah.
It is Proverbs 25, verse 2. It says, it is the glory of God to conceal things, but the glory of kings to search things out. And that's like,
So I'm a
you know,
king.
well, I mean, yeah, we're made co-heirs with Christ, right? Like, there's this very real quality that's our identity, is to seek these things out. It's the glory of kings to seek out the things that God has hidden. And he's not hiding things. I love this picture. I don't remember where I found it or heard it, but I'm pretty sure I didn't come up with it. It's like Easter eggs, where mom and dad hide the Easter eggs, right? Like, they're not trying to be tricky and they're not trying to keep things from their kids. They're actually trying to give them something joyful to discover, right? Because how excited does the kid get when I found the egg with money in it, or my favorite candy, or whatever. Like, oh wow, I love this thing. And it's, I went through the journey of discovering it. It's like, I don't know if you guys were just given cars, but the difference between, you know, here's your BMW brand new versus you have to work at a part-time job until you save up enough money to buy that jankety old Mustang, you know.
And then you get to work on it and make it something that's really fun to drive.
Right. And the value that it holds in your life is so different than if it's just like, all right, here's everything. Yeah.
Just give it to you.
Right.
Yeah, because all too often, you sound like you're about to say something. I'll say this quickly. All too often, it's like if you have a difficult question, the culture can be, and especially in Utah where we were, you shouldn't ask that, or you're wrong. You're bad for asking that or having that thought. And that's not true.
Yeah. 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 And honestly, we just, I don't know. I had this thought, and it's like, we just kind of create this group of people, and we just say, believe this, do this, think of this thing, do this thing.
That's
and
not
it's
being a disciple.
And it's almost like, wait, are we just kind of building a cult again? Like, are we just trying to control everyone and, make them, hey, make sure you believe these things. When you don't, I'm going to kick you out. But
what does disciple mean?
It's teaching them to obey and command everything that Jesus has commanded us to do.
But the word disciple, what does disciple mean?
Follower.
It literally means student.
Yeah.
Learner.
Yeah.
That's just, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but that's the point.
And like we think, oh, we need to build a church. We need to bring people to church. But like, is that actually church? Is that actually Christianity?
Is it just a building on Sunday?
Is
it
it
a cult or a relationship?
Is it
what
just
are we looking for?
Yeah, like is it just orthodoxy? Is it just orthopraxy? Is it just,
what does that mean? What do you mean by those
like,
words?
Big words.
Yeah, I know.
Sorry, is it just like orthodoxy as in you have to believe the right things, or is it orthopraxy as in you just have to do the right things?
Sure.
Is it all about, is it just like you have to believe this in order to be a Christian, or is it, you have to do this in order to be a Christian? Like what's...
You know what's so tough about that is, and this, especially as you guys go into ministry. By the way, at some point, I think we need to shift and talk about like ending well. Like, bringing things to a conclusion, because that's what this episode is, we're talking about where we came from, or where you guys came from, how it started. I want to talk to you guys about how you've evolved, and then what you're going to take out of this as you pass the baton to Tristan and Darren, and you go into new ministries. But one of the most difficult things, especially in ministry, making disciples, is, and I think I encounter this a lot with you personally, because you'll share some things that you're wrestling with or thoughts that you're having, and then it conflicts with me because I'm like, that's not where I am in my understanding of scripture and faith. But like, Jesus barely equipped his disciples before he sent 72 of them out in pairs. You know, he invested heavily into 12. So where did the other 60 come from? What was the level of investment he had in them? As much as he's just saying, all right, pair up, go out, proclaim the kingdom of God. He didn't give them that checklist. And it's like everybody on their journey in their relationship with God is going to walk through different things that evolve their faith and relationship with Christ in different ways. And it won't fall into this perfect little frame where this is what it looks like. And that's really hard for both of you guys, to look at the students you minister to, or the families or the parents or whoever, and you're like equipping them with what they need to grow in their relationship. But then you're like freeing them, releasing them to grow on their own. And when they grow in ways that are different to how you've grown or where you're at, that's really, really hard to be like, okay, they're not like heretical. They're not breaking, Jesus's design, but it's just so different to me. I got to let it go.
Wow. That's the beauty of the gospel. That's the beauty of struggling with Jesus through life. That's exactly why he's given us the armor of God, which we've been talking about. No matter the context where Satan's throwing at you, he will be there. That's just so beautiful. And in these changing contexts, right? Like, we're graduating. Why did we find two schmojo freshmen?
Oh yeah.
Wait, why did we what?
Why did we find two freshmen to carry this on in this changing context, right?
Because you guys are leaving, you could just wrap it up, be done.
Yeah.
Or
I mean, Jonathan has really pointed me to the scripture, but it's I think it's Paul writing to Titus, and he's like, hey, let the older men teach the younger men, let the older women teach the younger women. And so there's this idea that, like, don't let something die, or like, don't let something just dissolve, because in the church, like, if the guitarist doesn't have a younger person they're training, then when they die or when they pass, it's like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? We need to hire someone. We need to find someone. Or the pastor, no one's being discipled. No one's being trained. And honestly, like, we want to see this continue on campus, because for how much it's impacted me and Matt's view and approach to ministry and even our faith, I don't think it should die, and I want someone to carry that, and then for them to do the same thing. And I don't want to just do something to do it, and then just be like, all right, that was fun.
Yeah.
Like, what's the point of that? I don't know.
Because where are we having this conversation right now? We're at a college. This is a place to learn and to grow.
Yeah.
And we have not patented the idea of having tough conversations, and like even scary ones, because when a church is built around a pastor or a worship band is built around one person, it can get very scary. Because this podcast is not built around Matt and Aiden or even just Jonathan's leadership. It's built around, we're going to talk about Jesus and what he means to us and how we do life with that.
Yeah.
So it's just going to keep continuing with different people. And we prayed about it a lot. Yeah. Lord, who should we have to carry this on? And Darren and Tristan are two guys with very unique personalities in the way that they explore their faith. Very unique personalities. So I feel like I'm going to be excited to keep watching this as I'm in Arizona or off with whatever I'm doing. It's going to be very fun.
But then this becomes something different than it was. And that's like the whole point.
And and like it's kind of funny, Darren and Tristan, for listening, but like sometimes me and Matt are like, no, you need to do this thing. You need to make sure you do this. And what me and Matt have been like when they ask questions, we're like, I don't know, figure out what your guys' thing
that's
is.
exactly how you led us.
Yeah.
Because even though you've been doing this for 7 years, sorry.
Oh my gosh.
Man, you could have all the professional answers, but you're like, I'm not going to give that to you. I
Yeah.
could make this look like Hollywood. I'm not going to do that. That's for you guys to figure out.
If Jonathan would have kept, just like, here's the right answer, here's the right answer, here's the right answer, I don't think we would have seen the podcast actually evolve the way it did.
Yeah.
Watching the first season, I went through and I watched like all like the top videos we had on each season and just like reminiscing on it. And just the difference between the first 3 seasons, I'm like, oh my goodness, we're like refining our conversations, we're refining the reason why we're doing this. Like we like evolved kind of into the person that we wanted our audience to be. We're just like, be honest about the conversation, even if you're wrong, even if you're like, bro, I have no idea what I'm talking about, but let's talk about it. And yeah.
And I remember like in season 1, I think at the end, after season 1, you guys were like struggling because you were like, man, this is so hard, because you were regimenting everything so structurally.
Yeah.
And you were just like, I don't know if I have the time for this. It's overwhelming. I remember a couple of times you guys were in here and I was working over there just listening, and you guys kept, I think actually there was like 1 or 2 times where you were like, this isn't working. You were getting frustrated. And at some point I just kind of like, you guys can keep doing what you want, but here's just my thoughts.
Yeah.
Just talk about it. And I think we actually had that conversation like 2 or 3 times before you guys were like, yeah, all right, let's try it.
Yeah.
Sounds like the disciples in Jesus. Why don't you guys just do this? Jesus is just talking to him, and they're like, what do you mean?
What do you mean?
How long must I be with you?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess going back to why we chose Darren and Tristan, like freshmen, I honestly don't know why. I don't know, Matt, if you have an answer to why. I mean, we prayed about it. I don't even know if Darren and Tristan were friends when we said, hey, we want you guys to do this. But I think part of what we saw was curiosity. We saw humility. We saw guys who were willing to learn and try out something that they've never done. And
they have a heart for the Lord.
And yeah. And just seeing their growth so far has been awesome. And so I don't really know why Darren and Tristan specifically, but
so all those things, 100%. And then the Lord actually kind of led Darren to us. We just happened to go pick him up for a Central event when he wasn't a student yet.
Dude, that was crazy.
We ate Raising Cane's with him.
Yeah, tell that story.
Afterwards, we just dropped him off, and you were like, Matt, dude, it stunk the whole time. Like, I think he was passing gas the whole time. And I was like, Aiden, I'm sorry, that wasn't Darren.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm just sitting there dying because I didn't want to.
Why do you think I kept rolling my window down?
You kept rolling it down?
Mm-hmm. And
dude, you should have opened your door.
Man, and I don't think a convertible would have helped, dude. That stuff was heavy. But then, so Darren just showed an interest in the podcast. He was like, you guys are those guys on that podcast. I'm like, how do you know about that? Like, I was kind of watching it. I was like, what?
Yeah, before we ever met, Tristan knew of the podcast. Darren knew of the podcast. And that blew my mind. I'm like, wait, people watch this? Like, that's insane. And
yeah, and then as we were trying to find people, we were like, well, obviously Darren's going to be one of the people we talk to. He was like, yeah, I actually do have a heart for this. I do want to be that guy on the other side of the camera. And I said, okay, Darren, who are some of your friends? So I went and we talked to a bunch of his friends. And Tristan was not my first choice because he was very quiet when he first got here. And we started to see him grow, and we started to see that he's actually pretty unafraid in the way that he acts and talks about Jesus. And then he's also just charismatic. Like he's got charisma.
Yeah.
Um,
He's got a lot of gifts.
He's got the riz.
He's got
he's got that Riz, that Tristan,
Tris
Riz.
Riz?
Tris Riz.
So, I mean, what success would look like though, because those are two totally different people than we are.
Right.
Yeah.
What success would look like with this podcast is that it wouldn't look like this in a couple years.
Yeah.
That it would become a similar atmosphere of having that conversation in a different context that is Darren and Tristan.
Yeah.
And that they're just, whatever the Lord's putting on their hearts or whatever struggles are in their life, that they just talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really exciting.
One thing that I really love that you guys have done is that you've spent this whole year discipling them. So you guys picked them early last semester in the fall, and you started to incorporate them into the season last semester, and then you've equipped them to just kind of do their own thing, to pair up and start to practice with like this safety net. And I think that's ultimately the picture of discipleship.
Yeah.
You know, Jesus was, so they say like, whenever you want to teach somebody, you say, this is what I'm going to teach you. This is what I'm teaching you. This is what I taught you. And, you know, we see Jesus do that. He's teaching them, and then he does it with them, and then he has them do it.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, you guys are in the middle of doing it with them. You demonstrated it with them because you had them sit, like you paired up with one of them each, right? So you showed them how to do it. Then you're in the safety net here while you're still here, letting them practice so that next semester they're like, okay, now you're on your own. Go do it. And, you know, we've talked a lot about discipleship in youth ministry, in church, and you know, we haven't really had this conversation since, I don't know, in the last couple of years. You've kind of like gone AWOL and you're just up in Kirksville, like, I'll do my ministry. You guys worry about yourself. All right, see you, scat. And but there's this, you know, I think you have that. This is where your head and heart are, but the idea of the difference between, hey, come to my church, and how do we effectively equip people, individuals, to make disciples? One of the things, because you and I go to Rocky Fork together, right now we're going to the same church, and one of the things that I'm noticing is people kind of respond when I ask them, like, what's the gospel? They're like, oh, I don't know the gospel. I just invite people to come to church.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, that's not making disciples. Like, we each need to be in the place where on some level I can present the gospel. I can gossip about the gospel. I can talk about this thing that I actually know a little bit about of. And that's kind of how we do it. Let me show you. Let me do it with you. Yeah. And then go do it.
Yeah. Countryside is actually, the church in Kirksville where I'm interning at, has changed the way that I view ministry, in that Jim Kilson, the head pastor there, he's like, it's not my job to bring people to Christ. As a Christian, follower of Christ it is, but as the pastor here, it's not my job.
What is his job?
His job, that he says, it's my job to equip everyone else to do that.
Yep. 100%.
And Countryside has done a really good job at modeling that. Every Sunday morning they have Sunday school, and then every Wednesday they also have a meal together as the whole church, and then classes for each age group. And so just like twice a week, they're just teaching. So you have Sunday school, Sunday sermon, Wednesday class. All of that is surrounded by meals together. I'm just like, man, this church is doing this really well. And I could go up to any person in that congregation and just ask them about a really difficult thing going on in my life, or about something theological. They're not going to be a Bible professor, but they're going to know a lot more than most people because they're there to learn.
They're disciples,
not just to soak it up.
Students.
I think, and I guess our podcast kind of pushes against that a little bit. Our first season, we were like, oh, we want to give the answers to all these big questions.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think what we realized is that, okay, I don't know if people just need the right answers, because we can't give that. we thought we were like, we're going to have all these professors on. I was watching
Rabbi Aiden.
Listen to us, learn from us. But what we figured out was like, man, people just people just want to hear honesty. People want to hear something that's real. And like with youth ministry, I've learned, I'm like, I need to make the best sermon. No, these students just need something authentic. These students want to see someone that's like, oh wait, he loves Jesus. Oh,
And he loves
like
me.
and he loves me. Like he doesn't just push the answer on me, but he's trying to show me this thing that he loves. But yeah, I think our podcast has kind of shifted into this mode where we kind of push against like just feeding. Like here, just consume this, just take this in. But it's more like think for yourself. Yeah, wrestle with this. And man, that is ministry, and that's Jesus when he's like, yeah, who did the crowd say that I am? You know, all these answers. Yeah, who do you say that I am? Like, wait, what? You want to hear my answer?
Yeah, and that's interesting because he's not, you know, who do the crowd say I am is the question of like, well, who does the pastor say? Right? Because that's what if we're not taking the time to find the answer for ourselves, that's where we get the answer.
Yeah.
From Pastor Aiden, who's supply preaching. Who does Pastor Aiden say? Well, who do you say? How do you read the scriptures?
Yeah.
Right? It's all about, when we try to make disciples, I'm a firm believer that either we can't make disciples at all, or at minimum, we do a really, really poor job if we're making disciples based on what we heard somebody else say about the gospel.
Yeah.
If we're not spending the time to read the Bible, to abide with Jesus, like he says in John 15, abide with me. Like if we're not doing that, we cannot effectively make disciples, because otherwise we're actually just making disciples of what I heard somebody else say.
Yeah.
And that's not making disciples of Jesus. That's making disciples of Aiden or, you know, super preacher.
Yes.
Because that's the version of the gospel that I know.
Yeah.
Who do you say I am? Well, I say that you're the type of God that Francis Chan talks about. You know, Francis Chan might be correct, but I'm not correct by presenting the gospel of Francis Chan or whoever.
The gospel of Francis Chan. Yeah, and why do people just want honesty? Why is that speaking so much more to their spirit? Because at the end of the day, what people want in their soul is to see God and where God is and how he's moving. So that's why any person, for any reason, like why they would just listen to two college guys talking about God. Well, how is God moving in their life? What do they have to say about God? And that's what gospel gossip hopefully will continue to be.
Yeah.
To show where God is moving and what he's doing.
Like there's nothing special about us, and I think we should at least both admit that. But like with this podcast, we don't have something totally new, totally unique. No one ever does this. No one has all these answers. But yeah, we're just bringing something authentic and honest into social media. Oh,
Social media.
into social media and YouTube and podcasts. That's what we're bringing, and that's that honesty. And it's not like, it's not super sexy. It's not the greatest thing ever. We lose our train of thought all the time, but yeah, it's honest and it's real.
That's what's going to stay here even after we leave. Because honesty's not special to Matt and Aiden. Honesty's special to the Spirit. That's what's here.
Yeah. And you mentioned earlier, the difference between just being raw and having the answers. Like, I think there's an awakening of, like, I don't want your answer. I don't just want you to tell me what's true. There's, since we've had like the Enlightenment and the Industrial Revolution and all these different like progressive, seasons in history that have brought us, scientific method and all these things, like we're progressively getting more and more to the point where it's like, I need to know what's real.
Yeah.
The Renaissance, like it has shifted away from, I'm just going to trust the authority figure in my life to tell me what's true, and then I'm going to learn that, memorize it, and then recite it to the next generation.
Yeah.
To this point where it's like, I need to figure out for myself, and I don't know if that's good or bad, that's just where we're at. And there's this shift from just tell me the answer to I need to figure it out on my own. And this is interesting because there is value in learning from, because I've warned you guys, like we've had some private conversations where I'm like, hey, I've done this in my life, avoid this and don't do it.
Yeah.
But there's this always something inside of us that says, well, I want to know if that's true for myself.
I want to go touch the hot stove.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Is it really going to blister my fingers when I pull the tray of nachos out of the oven?
Am I really gonna die if I eat that apple in the garden?
Oh,
Yeah.
That's what. That's
Well,
what Saban
yeah.
said.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Going back to the original one.
test it. Yeah.
And this is, so people, even if you don't have an answer, to be vulnerable enough to say, I don't have the answer, and these are the questions that I'm struggling with. I mean, that's the place where we all just need to be. We all want to be. The last thing I want to talk, we're kind of running long, but I think this is a really good conversation. I want to ask you guys, what are you taking away from, you guys have talked about how you've evolved, but this is the last episode that you guys are going to at least lead. Maybe Tristan and Darren will have you come back as guests or something. But you're about to be done with this. You guys have prepared to pass the torch. What are you taking away from all of this as you go off into ministry? Because you're doing a residency and you're going into vocational ministry.
Well, I'd say I'm taking away, just being completely honest, the fear of not talking about what I love. Because when I was a freshman, I was very comfortable just being like, oh, you guys think that? All right, that's cool. I mean, if it's something I totally disagree with. And now I'm at the point where if I don't voice what I have in a respectful way and have a conversation about it, it's just going to sit in my mind and just stir there. I'm like, man, I really should have talked to this person about that. So just that drive, that want to share the truth and help other people's get there themselves. That is something that this podcast specifically has really impacted onto me.
Yeah.
I think something I've already been trying to do with the students at this youth group is, I have one student who's really wrestling with God, and it's honestly super cool to watch. He's only like 16, and I think, why couldn't I be there? Why couldn't I have been there when I was that age? But he texted me this question him and his girlfriend wrestling with, and I think it's like the fate of the unevangelized. And I'm going, I know the textbook answer, I know a video link I can send him, I know a sermon I can send him, I can make a video. Like, all these answers are going through my mind of like, I'm gonna give him the right answer right now. But I thought, what if I just gave him a question and him and his girlfriend just go and talk about it, and then we meet up and we chat about it?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh my gosh, I really don't want to do that. I just want to give him the right answer, because then it goes, wow, Aiden's so smart. Yeah, I should follow this guy. But I thought, no, I should see where they are with this and what they think about this before I just give them the answer. So I literally just said, well, what about these questions? So then I was like, here's like 2 or 3 questions. You guys chat about this. We'll get back together. And we haven't been able to yet because school, and I love school, but I can't wait for it to be done so I can just invest into these students. But yeah, I think it's leaving space for the students to voice their opinions during lessons, instead of just like, hear this, listen to this, take this thing. I'm like, what do you guys think? And I just leave the floor open. Here's the mic, here's the spotlight. What do you think? And I've had so many students say something that I've never heard them talk in front of anyone, and I go, oh my word, you just explained my entire lesson. And it was so encouraging. That's what I want. I want them to be thinking. I want them to be wrestling. So that's definitely that's what I've taken from this podcast for sure.
You know, in our time in the last few years, as I've known you guys and had a relationship with you guys, there have been so many times where I've had the exact same thing, like, oh, I just want to give you the answers. And I haven't always exercised that self-control where I'm like, here's the answer.
Yeah.
I want you guys to know it because it's crazy and it's cool and it's exciting.
Yeah.
But then there are also times where I deliberately just kind of step back. You guys kind of have to figure that out. Something I want to encourage you guys with, because I think the next level of what you guys both just said is the answer that you have right now might not be the last answer you have to those questions. You still, because even as you're talking, I'm imagining like what answer you would give them, and I'm thinking, I don't even think that's the right answer.
Really? Huh.
But it's just, so one of the things that I try to say when someone's like, well, what about this thing in the Bible? I try to preface it with where I'm at in my faith right now. I understand it this way because, and that's one of the amazing things about God. We're talking about like different journeys and all this stuff. He's like, he's a big God, and he can handle when we don't think or believe correctly. And he's like, all right, well, I get where you come with that. At some point, I'm going to teach you something different that I want you to know. And that's really hard for us to like let go of when we're like, no, this has got to be the thing that's true because I've been at peace with God believing this thing, but that doesn't mean that that's where he wants you to stay. Right? Like he's like, okay, well, I understand why you're there and why you think and believe that, but everything is a journey. I think I've shared this with you guys before. In Exodus chapter 32, they're going into the promised land, and God tells them, he says, I'm not going to give you the whole land in a year. If I gave it to you all at once, and we talked a little bit about this a little earlier, it's the glory of God to conceal things and the glory of kings to find them out. He says, if I give you the promised land all at once instantaneously, actually the wild beasts will take over. Your nature will take over and ruin this good thing that I've given you. And so he gives them the land bit by bit. They don't see the full scope of the borders that he promised Abraham, that Solomon had. They're given it little bits at a time. And I equate that to our sanctification process. He gives us bits at a time. We don't see the full scope. We don't understand everything all at once. We will evolve in the way that we think and believe in God and interact with him, because as we incrementally are made perfect and holy and sanctified, we grow in our understanding. Right now we know this little section of the promised land, and it's going to grow and it's going to expand, and it's going to be so much more than just this idea that we have here.
Wow, that's exactly what the Great Commission was. I mean, and especially in Paul's context, because he just came from a Old Testament, like, man, it's just the Jews, it's just the Jews. Okay, now Jesus, but Jesus just to the Jews, and then God was like, no, all of these Gentiles too. And he was like, wait, what? This can't be right. Hey, what are you saying, Paul?
Bro.
Yeah.
And then he was like, no, it's going to keep expanding. And then Paul even was, so I'm sure if you told Paul, even like immediately after Jesus blinded him and he was like, okay, Jesus is real, that he would be going on these missionary trips, he would have been like, no way, man.
Just to the Jews.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's it, for sure.
So, man, that's awesome.
So be humble enough to let your students teach you things.
Yeah.
Because ultimately the one who really has the answers is God.
Yeah.
It's not us.
Yeah.
And we're just having this conversation.
And Psalm says, out of the mouths of babes comes the glory of God. So it'd be real easy for us, and I struggle with this, to be like, this is the answer, you're an idiot, you're wrong. Versus, wow, they just said something I never heard before. You guys have done that to me. Like, we'll be talking about something and I'll be like, bro, what you can do with that meat, boy?
That's crazy.
I'll probably just leave it out, let it spoil.
No, this is good. I'm really proud of you guys. I love you guys, and I'm really appreciative of what you've created here, and that you have been good stewards of making sure that, not that gospel gossip has to succeed and it has to continue, but you guys have done a good job of stewarding it and making sure that if there is someone to continue the legacy of gospel gossip, it's set up to succeed. So, well done, guys.
Thank you for teaching the younger men or younger babies.
Thank you for babysitting us every Thursday for the last 3 years.
Yeah, for real though. I mean, like that's the church. That's what we're doing. That's disciple making, and we hope people have seen that.
Yeah,
and we hope that testifies to the truth. So,
All right.
so what do we do now? Do we like cut the cords and?
please do not cut the cord.
Well, hey, we hope you guys keep having these kinds of conversations.
Yeah.
What is God doing in my life? How do I wrestle with this? Don't be afraid to ask those questions, because Israel, so how God wants his people to be known, is people who wrestle with him.
Yeah.
Let's do that together. Let's encourage each other in that, even as we leave. This guy will probably be here for the next 60 years, but all right. We'll see you guys not next week. Goodbye.
Peace out.
See you in heaven.
Big gulps, eh?
Big gulps. Matt, big gulp.
Oh.
Oh, man. Let's mustache about that.
Wait. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
What's
Two
right?
thirds.
I was just trying to think of like, I mustache you a question or something that I think that went around for a while.
Oh, wow. Aiden,
Mustache
I must ask
etiquette.
you a question.
Yeah?
Is this our last episode?
It mustache be our last episode.
Let's gossip about that.
Let's. Oh, yeah.
Let's mustache.